Welcome to GameRomp Easy Mode, a chill podcast with your hosts, David over there.
Yeah.
And me, Deanna over here.
Deanna over there. We're going to take it easy, have a chill time, relax.
Yeah, maybe I started that a little too hyper-like.
No,
I don't
worry.
know how ASMR we should get. Anyways, do you have a specific way you want to start this? Should I start with my game, or should we do the compare and contrast game?
Well, I guess today we're going to talk about a lot of demos, betas. Steam Next Fest happened a while back, and I guess we sort of missed it. Or as it happened live, we kind of missed it, so we're jumping in late on all the demos and stuff.
Mostly you, because I did one demo.
Really?
I admit I was bad.
You did one demo? Oh.
Yes, the one we're going to talk about.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant like as it was actively, ongoing. I'm surprised you only did one. I could have sworn you...
I don't know. Usually I do more demos, but somehow I just missed it. I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to talk about everything I played because some of them I didn't really like that much.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, some of them, like one of them had really cool art, but then like the gameplay and story was kind of eh.
That's fair.
And, there's examples like that. Another one was like, oh, this looks really cool. But then when I played it, it was like, nah, it's not really for me, I guess.
So how would you like to start?
I am starting.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're talking about them, right?
I guess.
Let me guess. You really just want to get into talking about yours. It's fresh on your mind. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
I actually want to talk about the one we both played.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Because I think some of our listeners prefer it when we have it back-to-back.
Mm.
So the game demo that we both played is called Luma Island.
Yeah.
Now, I know why I picked this, because it's cute, it's got the farming aspects, it talks a lot about the professions that you can choose and stuff.
Oh,
but I'm curious why you picked it.
I thought I pointed this one out to you.
You may have, but I looked at it and I'm like, oh shit, this is right up my alley. But why did you pick it out?
Well, I just thought it looked really nice. I guess I'm shallow in that sense. The
graphics got to you?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a Stardew Valley kind of farming, but also maybe slightly adventure.
Definitely. I think everyone can do the adventure bit, but there's...
It's hard to say because the demo ends so fast, but there seems to be not just like a cave where you go mining, but also like some ruins that you can go explore.
Yes,
and there's
I did the ruins.
There's a whip you can,
yes.
Like... Normally, you think, you get a shovel, a hoe, an axe, a pickaxe.
And a sword. Or at least in Stardew, you get a sword.
Yeah, true. And this one, you also get a whip, like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the fact that there was, like, multiple things to do and just visually, I think a way to describe this game for someone who hasn't seen it, and I mean, you can just Google it, Luma Island, to see what it looks like, but it's 3D. It kind of has, like, a Minecraft texture... Like the textures on the objects, the grass, the trees, makes me think of Minecraft for some reason.
Really? Now that's an interesting one, because I was thinking it was not exactly like the new Zelda game that came out where it's super plastic looking, but it feels to me like it has almost a toy-ish aesthetic. I
guess it's because like the textures are very pixelated. They're not like high resolution. They're not low resolution, but they got like, you can see the pixels in the textures, and it kind of gives it that chunky feel to it.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially in the trees and in the plants, but it looks really good in my opinion.
You know what an interesting thing that got me with this game is the environment looks really nice. The characters look pretty good.
The characters to me were a little whatever, but it's fine.
Do you mean like the character customization or even NPCs? Just
everything. They're just blocky characters. They're fine. I would say they're closer to good than like bad, but they didn't scream out to me. Like there's another game in this genre that just recently released. I forget the name of it. Like Fields of Mysteria, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, I think I follow them on Tumblr actually.
They have their character art is really good. Like really good. Their in-game sprites for the characters are, whatever, but like the art is good. And whereas in Luma Island, I think the characters, both what you see as you're walking around and like when you see their portraits, they're just kind of okay.
I guess I kind of forgot about the portraits themselves.
They are that.
They do their job. It's fine. What I wanted to say though is that especially when you're like catching bugs or picking up items, stuff like that, especially the bugs, they're pixelated.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I think I kind of like it. Like it's such a almost a clash with the rest of the environment, but it's also interesting.
Yeah, they're just 2D sprites on top of the 3D world, and it's fine.
It's interesting. Or maybe I just really like the, like, I guess it's just worm, but it's more like inchworm because it's like green and it like squishing around the ground or something.
I think the crabs and the shrimp were also 2D.
Yeah, I think all the little like creatures are 2D.
I didn't see too many because, again, the game ended surprisingly fast for me. But
so did you make it to 5 days and you just slept through half of it? Because my experience was, yes, it ended after day 5, but maybe it was because I didn't actually sleep. I think I slept like twice.
Maybe, because, like, well, once nighttime started rolling around, I figured, well, it's Stardew-like, I'm just going to go to bed.
I suppose, but somehow my first night, I was so adamant of trying to find my profession trainer, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then I just kept exploring, and then I kept finding treasure chests, and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go get that. And then I was like, ooh, I'm going to do this. And like the first night, it turned into morning. I finally found the profession trainer, talked to her, and then it like officially clocked over into the next day.
So you don't get punished for staying up all night, I guess?
Apparently not.
Oh, well, maybe that would have helped, but yeah, because I treated it like, Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, where if you stay up all night, that's not good. I went to bed and it felt like the game just ended really fast.
That was an interesting thing. It doesn't seem to punish you that I saw for not sleeping during the night. And the only other game I can compare it to that does something similar is Graveyard Keeper. Now in Graveyard Keeper, there is the day and night cycle, but again, you don't have to sleep at night. And maybe this is because, spoiler alert, Graveyard Keeper, you're technically dead.
Wow. I didn't know that, but okay.
Well, now you do. It's
probably something like that happened right in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's fine. But you can go to sleep in Graveyard Keeper just to revive like your stamina. Mm-hmm. But as you get further in the game, as long as you keep up your stamina with, say, food items, you technically never really have to sleep. So it's like you're not punished for not sleeping, but there is, ways that can entice you to go to sleep in order to gain back health or stamina. Whereas this game, again, it was so short, or the demo itself was so short, that it doesn't seem like there didn't seem to be much stamina. Was there stamina? I completely forgot. It didn't feel like it.
No, I don't remember any stamina.
There's no stamina.
I think
there might be health.
I think the thing that limits you, whereas like, okay, in Stardew and Harvest Moon, you're limited a lot by the stamina, but in this game, you're limited by everything seems to tick over in real time. So like for me, I chose the cooking profession. Okay. And I had to like mill a bunch of flour. The milling, you put the flour in and it would mill and it would have like I forget if you could see the clock in game, but it would take time. And so that's what limited. You can't just do everything. If you got a bunch of ores to melt, you have to put the ores in the forge, and it just takes like real time for it to melt. So you have to go do other things to do.
I did do some of the oring. I did. So the profession I chose was fishing, just because, especially in Stardew Valley, that's like my first thing to hit 10.
I don't think I actually fished in this game.
It's different. I'll get to that.
Okay.
So I picked fishing. I talked to my trainer. I got the supplies for fishing, which oddly enough, you don't get from the trainer. She's like, oh, go check out the beach, and then you find a treasure chest.
Yeah,
that's where it is.
Whatever. I found that too. I just never used it.
So that was kind of silly, I guess. But then, in order to go fishing, you need to get bait, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's where you get the net to catch the bugs.
Yeah.
So you can catch the inchworms, you can catch shrimp. There's different fish, I think, require different bait, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is you can go and fish anywhere, technically, and you'll get something. You might not get the fish you need, but you'll get whatever, which might be, I think, maybe seaweed might be one of them or something, or more shrimp. I don't know, something like that. But then there's parts where you'll actually see little fishies floating around. You throw out the fishing line, the fish will see it, and it'll go over it and it'll nibble. Now, an interesting thing is when you think about fishing, what do you think? You throw out the line and what?
You wait for the fish to bite it, and then you have to hook it and then reel it in.
Right. You're usually trying to reel the fish in.
Yeah.
In this game, unless it was just a programming goof or something, instead of reeling in the fish, you kind of have to chase the fish is running away from you, and you have to chase it with the bobber.
Okay, huh? That's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, different games that I've played, Graveyard Keeper, you throw the fishing bobber in the water, you wait it. How does it work exactly?
I never played that.
It's a basic fishing. You reel it in.
I mean, yeah, we know how other, like Stardew, it's you get the little mini game. Like Harvest Moon, it's just like you hit it at the right button.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, you have to get the shadow in the right spot. Mm-hmm. This one is the only game where I've had to chase the fish down. And then once you chase the fish long enough, then you can reel it in and it's easy. But it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I didn't get to do any fishing. I wanted to. I had the fishing pool. I even got bait, but I was just like, oh, I'm doing other stuff. And then by the time, like, yeah, the game ended, which is weird. Okay, so
it was weird.
I chose the cooking, right? Mm-hmm. And we still needed to go mining to get like copper or ores or to make the machines. I think I had to make like an oven or something.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Did you have to farm at all?
I did no farming whatsoever.
See, because I was a cook, I needed to make wheat. So I farmed some wheat, and it's not like Stardew or Harvest Moon where like I thought it would be, but it's not really. It doesn't seem to be tied to daytime, or it doesn't seem to be tied to the day, as in like you plant the thing. And then the next day it'll pop, and then the next day it'll grow, and then the next day it'll be ready. It seems to be just like based on time. So there's even a way to make it grow really fast, so you can make the wheat grow like in a single day. But it just happens in real time, like Minecraft, I guess you could say.
I was gonna almost say similar to like the Facebook farming games, whereas like this is gonna grow in 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what timetable it was set up, and I don't remember if it actually, because it progresses visually, so you can tell when it's getting closer, so there's not like a clock on it, but you basically had to wait around for it to be done, and I thought like, oh, I'm going to go to bed because I'm done for the day, and it'll be a little bit more the next day, but that doesn't affect it at all, so that was also another goof on my part, well, or the game for not like telling me, I don't know, but yeah, I was growing the wheat. You harvest it, then you have to make like a grinder to make the
a mill.
Yeah, to turn the wheat into flour.
Makes sense.
And then after that, I'd have to build an oven to make the flour into bread or whatever. So that was my main goal. I did do a little bit of I got the whip to go into like the ruin, because I think you can use there was something in the ruins. I forget what it was. I guess it was a currency to unlock new recipes or something.
There's like they're like little circles or orbs, and there's elements to each one. So I guess there's like maybe a rock element and a ground, or like a grass element, plant element maybe. There's
so much in this game that I didn't really get to experience. Like even the titular lumas. Did you get any of the lumas? Apparently they're like animals that help you.
Yes, I actually did get one.
I didn't get one at all.
Yeah, so that's why I went into the ruins, because I think at the end of the ruins, or at least one of them, you find this little egg. So then you build the machine to hatch the egg, and I got a little griffin character thing.
Wow, this is really interesting. It's no wonder you liked it a lot more than I did, because it feels like I didn't barely see anything.
You might have to try it again, or at least give it another shot.
Maybe. I don't know if I really want to, but maybe. We'll see. It's just, it's such a pretty game. I did like the idea of being in it, almost to the extent where I didn't want to destroy the environment, like because you have to like chop wood to get wood, obviously, and like, you know, rocks as well to get stone. But I would like roam out further because I didn't really want to like just clear cut everything.
No, I did the same thing. I mean, I clear-cutted slate. Like, I tried not to take down too many trees because I like the trees, but I did kind of like go through the grass and stuff.
And I didn't know like if it would be easy to regrow the trees or whatever.
That's fair.
And there's also like you had to get weeds for fibers and stuff. So it's like I this sounds crazy to some people, I'm sure, but when I play these games, I like my area to look visually pleasing. I like to decorate, and I'm a very visual person. Even when I play Animal Crossing or Minecraft, like I try to plan out things so that nature looks nice, because I'm going to be playing in it and I want it to look nice. When you first started the game, the environment looks beautiful, and it's like, oh, I need wood. You could just clear cut all the trees and then you're just going to be left with something that's just grass and ugly, right?
No, I do the same thing. And as a little aside, because you mentioned Minecraft and Animal Crossing, although Animal Crossing's a little bit, I guess Minecraft too, you can at least plant the trees and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember when I used to play Rust way back before they even introduced electricity. Once they introduced that, I'm like, I can't do this. But I used to play that, and even there, I wouldn't clear cut, mostly because I didn't want to make it super obvious to other people that someone was in the area. Because I feel like you would cut down the trees in like a certain way, and people would be like, oh, someone's cutting trees around here. They must be close by.
Yeah.
But that's a me thing. This is like survival and aesthetic reasons.
Yeah.
But at least in Luma, like, it's an island, but it seems pretty big, because I was exploring for a good long while, and it just seemed, at least for the 5 days that you can play in game, that it just kept going and going and going. So
interesting. I don't feel like I explored that much. Like, there's a starting area where you're like on this hill, and you got like a little camper van, which is cute.
Oh yeah, that was kind of adorable.
And there's a mine to your left, and then like the ruins to the, I guess, east.
Northeast, something like that. Then there's the town. And the town's surprisingly big too, or maybe I just got lost.
It was really big. Maybe it's because I feel so slow in that game. I didn't really explore the town fully. I also didn't talk to a lot of people. I don't know if that's because I found the characters uninteresting and visually uninteresting, because everyone kind of, the art style, everyone just kind of looks the same. And even their portraits, they don't look visually interesting. So I didn't feel the drive to go talk to everyone. Like, ooh, what kind of weirdo am I going to meet? They all just kind of look the same to me. So I didn't talk to many people.
I guess they looked fine to me, because the first one, when you head up what I assume is north, but who knows, before you reach the main town, there's like a little outlet thing, and the bookseller is like, he's different from everyone else. Like, I forget if he's wearing a turban or something, but he's like the book collector, and you can help him find books if you go in the ruins and find it. And then there was a girl, and I think her brother or something, and then there was another girl that was living on her own in one of the like cabin houses or something.
Wow. I must.
And then the mayor is like really weird.
I think at some point the game directs you to go to the town to like get your profession, because in this game you can be like,
there's a ton of professions. It was like more than 10, I think.
And that's why I went into town, and I talked to like some tutorial girl, and then I went to talk to the profession. I chose cooking, so I talked to the cooking guy, and I think that's basically the only people I talked to.
Well, and that sounds like a you problem.
I just went back out into the world because I wanted to be in the world and like, set up my farm and get things going. That was like my main driving force for me. So I didn't really explore the town too much. It looked like it was pretty. Like, just like the rest of the game, visually the town was pretty. But because I, again, was under the assumption that, I only have so much hours in the daytime, I'm going to go back out and do the thing I want to do. I didn't really explore the town too much. Because
then I guess it helped for me that I kept getting distracted by, ooh, treasure chest here, ooh, a little treasure thing over there, and I kept bouncing around, and then before I know it, it's like getting dark, but the game didn't give me like, oh, you're feeling sleepy or anything, so I just kept going until morning, until 8 o'clock, and then I guess it switches over, but you're just still there.
I guess I didn't even find too many I think there was a treasure chest by the river in the north of the mine, and
oh, there's treasure chests fucking everywhere, I swear.
A few around the camp, but I don't remember what I found in them, or if they were interesting enough for me to even keep searching. Like, did you ever find anything interesting in those chests?
I think it was mostly like the currency kind of things, and I call them currencies, but I don't think you actually. It's
Yeah,
yes,
there's like
but
a bunch
no.
of weird like elemental energy stuff that I just never figured out what that was
Yeah,
for.
I had so many of those fucking things, and I think that comes in later of like either buying certain items or unlocking certain items, something like that,
This game seems very complex, and it doesn't seem
and
like
yet extremely easy. Because one thing we haven't brought up, you have endless inventory. Did you notice that at all?
I guess I didn't notice that.
I
No,
think they specifically say it that like, oh, if you have a lot of items and you need more room, you just get more inventory. It's basically endless.
no, I don't remember that at all.
Which is okay, I guess, because I know like inventory management, especially in the earlier Animal Crossings, was just so bad. But on the other hand, having endless inventory almost seems cheaty like. But
I kind
maybe
of
I would.
don't like that either. I mean, to be fair, inventory in like Stardew or Harvest Moon, it's always been kind of a pain. You always want to like buy your upgraded packs real fast, but it gets to the point where like if you have infinite inventory, it just
It's too easy.
yeah, there's no strategizing about it. I've always liked, and I know this is a pet peeve for a lot of people, even in games like Skyrim or Fallout, but I like the idea of like you have to be careful about what you're taking out on your adventure.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna.
But I also like this is going to be an aesthetic thing, but like I also just really enjoy the look of backpacks. Adventurer backpacks. Like I have a whole mod in Stardew Valley so that I can have a backpack, whether you want the lumber backpack so it shows that you're collecting wood, or you have the miner's backpack and it has like a lantern on it, which is also super cool. And it just looks good to me.
Yeah.
So having endless inventory and not needing a backpack is just fucking weird.
Well, I guess some people are gonna be happy about no inventory worries, but I mean, it's not really that big of a deal to me either.
Maybe if they could put an option of whether you want that or not, I
I
guess.
mean, I guess it's not like this is a survival game, so it's not like the long dark where like those
Yeah, I
decisions
guess.
matter. So maybe that's fine. I can. I like inventory management. It just kind of adds an extra step. Like even in Stardew, like the idea of like, ooh, I'm gonna pack a lunch to go into the caves, right?
Yeah.
It's like how much lunch am I gonna take, or how many healing items am I gonna take? That's kind of the strategy. Do I want to be more safe, careful, or just like do I want a bunch of space? And without that limitation, it feels like, oh, I can just make a million burritos and then I'll have infinite health.
Yeah. It's hard to just try and get that balance, and everyone's going to have different opinions. So, really, we've had, I guess, all these games where we have to manage inventory, so maybe we can handle having one game where we don't have to. So,
It'll be interesting to see how they balance that, because I know this game also has that system where you got the ruins to explore as an adventure, but even in the mines, you have to worry about like torches and like there's stuff in there that can kill you, apparently.
I think it's supposed to be spiders or something. Yeah, actually, I did go into the mines because I think the ruins it's taken care of. You're just like getting around obstacles and killing a couple of things, I guess, here and there. But the mines are different. Yeah, you need torches and
If you go into this dark, if you step into the darkness even for a little bit, like it makes a scary noise, and I don't know what happens, but
yeah, I did not go into mines very long. I was going to at some point and then the demo ended, so I never got that chance. But maybe I'll play again and just see because I think it said something about spiders, but I know so many people apparently have agoraphobia that like all these games are like if you don't like spiders, you can just turn it into a floating ball and I guess that works, but
there's something about that in Monster Hunter's Wilds, which maybe we'll talk about later. But there's an arachnophobia mode where it turns all the spiders into like little green jelly blobs, which is very weird looking, but whatever.
yeah. I think when I played Grounded, they also had a slider. So it would go from big spiders, because they get pretty big because, that's the whole point of the game. And then I think they might get smaller and then they start losing legs, like one pair at a time, until you slide it all the way down and it's just a floating ball.
That sounds creepy and gross in its own way.
Thankfully, I personally don't have
Arachnophobia.
arachnophobia.
You know,
So
I always wondered about stuff like that. Like, where does it end? Like, do they also change crabs? What about the shrimp?
I don't know. You'll have to ask someone that has that issue.
Because
Like, legitimately has that issue.
when I was a kid, shrimp really freaked me out.
Really?
My grandma would go fishing, and you'd have to, at least she would use live shrimp, and I could never grab the shrimp. She'd be like, "Oh, grab a shrimp, and we'll hook it." And it freaked me out. I could not grab the shrimp. They had like a million legs and the creepy little faces, and I just couldn't do it. I'd rather use worms, but that wasn't a thing we used in Florida. But not only that, I remember there's this is a tangent. Welcome to freaking GameRomp tangent mode. But there was my cousin was reading this story, and it was like a horror, like a young adult's horror novel or something. And in my memory, it was something about shrimp that would attack humans. They were like the size of, I don't know, a bear. And you'd see these people, and they were just like, the shrimp were rushing up to the house and trying to break in or something. And I just remember being a kid riding back from a fishing expedition with grandma and my cousin and listening to the music on the radio and just seeing these shrimp in her book, and ugh.
Poor you. So much trauma.
Anyway, it's not, I don't have a shrimp phobia or anything, but I'm just saying I could see how somebody would, because they're fucking creepy little dudes. And I mean, I guess spiders can bite you or whatever, but
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Shrimp are basically water bugs, right? And
I mean, yeah.
Crabs too. Like, are those scary to people with arachnophobia? Or what about mosquitoes? Actually, I think the arachnophobia mode in Monster Hunter Wilds also changes the mosquitoes to be blobs.
What the fuck? Like, I know mosquitoes aren't great. Like, I understand why people hate them, but...
What about somebody who's scared of bears? Because bears are scary, right? And, like, there's...
Look, I'm not even going to get into the mess of what counts as a phobia and if people legitimately have that phobia or if they're just fucking around and taking
Did we
it too
talk about this
seriously.
already in the
I don't
podcast?
know. Should we go back to Luma Island, or are we done with that?
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm kind of checked out on Luma Island because I mean, I barely experienced the game, I guess. And for what I did, like, I remember thinking visually it was very pretty, but I wasn't like sold on the idea of like, oh, this is a game I'm going to buy. The demo didn't really hook me in that sense. I just remember it being pretty and fun to be in for a while, but I don't know. Maybe you'll have to try it again someday, but with so many games out there, it's kind of hard to make that commitment.
I mean, I bought games and I still need to play them. So.
But you seem like you would, like when it came out. If the price was right, you might give it a shot.
Yeah, but as it looks right now, it's going to be coming out November 20th, so...
I'll have to look for reviews.
We'll still have to wait once this episode comes out for a little longer. But it doesn't say how much it's going to be. I'm predicting that it's probably at least $30. It just feels like a game that has a team big enough to, I guess you would say, justify $30 or more.
I mean, Pal World and Enshrouded were both $30, and those are great deals.
So if it comes out to be that much, I'm probably just going to have to skip it, but that's my own financial thing. And again, I bought other games, and I have played Potion Craft for a bit. Should play that a little bit more. I still got to go through Green Hill.
Yeah, that you actually bought. You might as well play that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Have you played that at all?
I played the tutorial bit, like the story tutorial bit. But I do need to like try and continue. I don't know. I just get into these things where I want to play this now, and then I lose it, and then I don't feel it's my thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I have been playing something else.
Let's go back to Steam demos real quick. I'll be quick because I have a few more.
Oh, that's fair.
I played a lot actually, and I still have a few more that I haven't played yet that I have downloaded and installed.
I think I saw you playing specifically one of the games.
Oh yeah, Ballionaire.
Yeah, the Plinko.
Yeah, I mean, that was okay. I don't know if I would buy it. I feel like because of the nature of Plinko, like it can feel kind of random, but then you strategize about, because you're like using, okay, imagine Plinko. Mm-hmm. It's in a pyramid shape.
Okay.
Each little peg will give you $1, but you can earn pegs to put on the thing and it'll change them. So like some of them are simple, like, oh, this is just a a Sonic the Hedgehog casino spring thing, or it just bounces you and earns you money.
Okay.
But some of them are like, oh, if you hit this tree, if you hit it from the top, it's whatever. But if you hit it from the bottom, like, it'll make more money. And it'll grow every turn, so it'll make more money as time goes on.
Okay.
Some of them are like an apple or a tomato or bread, and you'll carry that, and you can like take it somewhere to make a meal or take it to a mouth peg to feed it.
Interesting.
There's like a
So
lake
it's
one.
all in the pyramid, but there's like you can quote unquote go on adventures or collect items and then hit other pegs to do
It's
things?
not really an adventure so much as like you're just setting things up.
Okay.
Like that's like
strategizing.
yeah, the demo has like that was like one of the demo presets. Like, oh, let's teach you about the food setup. But there's another one like the water setup, where you hit the lake and it turns into a water ball, and you can put that in a dam, and then the dam collects water, or the whale. And then there's just a bunch of stuff. It's basically one of those games where every turn you're picking a new card, and that card is like a peg that you put on your board, and you're trying to build synergies.
Okay.
So like there's a piggy bank. So you would want to synergize that with blocks or pegs that make you spawn gold coins.
Now my thought is the piggy bank is you're saving whatever you catch. during the rest?
If you spawn a gold coin, and these all act as balls. If the little ball hits the piggy bank peg, it'll get saved, and that'll earn you money.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't think there's too much to say. I think you can get a clear image even just from that short description. It's basically Plinko with different pegs that do different things, and you try to synergize them.
Now, are there different boards where like, oh, this pyramid is working and you collect the food and make food with it and that gets you money?
No, it's all about the pegs.
Okay.
So you're building the pegs to be that.
Because you brought up the food thing, and I get that aspect, but then you brought up something about whaling and fishing or water or something, and then like, are you mixing those things together?
You can mix them, yeah. That
That
wouldn't be
sounds-
efficient, but you could.
That sounds chaotic.
It is chaotic.
Oh, okay.
The water
So
one
it's
I
supposed to
built was incredibly chaotic by the end. It's fun when you build something that it just makes a bunch of shit go flying everywhere and you earn a bunch of points, but it's also just like...
Is this one of these games where it's like shit's flying everywhere, numbers are everywhere, dopamine mega hit kind of thing?
Kinda, yeah. Except I got kind of bored of that. Like, okay, this water thing is going great, and like I have a target of making 25,000 points, and I'm making like millions because it's just absolute chaos. And it's just like, okay, I beat it. I'm kind of done. So it was fun, but I don't think I'll buy it. I can see how somebody who really gets
That seems
crazy with numbers,
overstimulating.
yeah, would like it, but
But hey,
that was the one you saw me play, I guess. That I wasn't really going to talk about that one because I didn't really feel like I liked it a whole bunch, but it was okay. It's just probably not for me. The ones I did kind of like, there was one called AI Limit. And AI Limit is basically Dark Souls, anime Dark Souls in like some post-apocalypse.
oh boy, everything's gonna start coming out with AI this, AI that.
You're like, I don't really know why it's called AI Limit, honestly. I don't think you're a robot. You look like some anime girl, and there are some robots you fight, but there's also some just monsters. And it was fine. I actually really liked it until I got to the boss at the end of the demo, and I just could not beat the boss. Like, at all. I tried so many times, I could not freaking beat that boss.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I know people kind of enjoy suffering when it comes to Dark Souls games.
I don't know. To me, it feels bad in the sense that the boss just felt too fast. This game, to anyone who has played Dark Souls games, when I was going through most of the game, it felt like Dark Souls 1. Very slow, very methodical. Like everything felt like it had weight. But then I got to the boss, and it felt too fast. Like it felt more like
The boss itself felt fast.
yeah, it felt like something out of Neo instead of like Dark Souls 1. Didn't even feel like an Elden Ring boss. It felt like a Neo boss. It just felt really fast and frantic.
Weird.
And I just could not beat him. And I've beat Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Neo 1. Like,
So you have experience. You know, like, the difference between not being able to beat a boss the first time, but learning the strategy and getting through it.
I just could not. I don't know. I couldn't beat it. Maybe I'm just getting old.
No. You beat Elden Ring not that long ago, jeez. God, you're only 40, man.
I don't know, man. I just could not beat that boss, and I'm just like, I'm not. I've lost count of how many times I've played this, and I'm just like, I'm good. For like the first big major boss, there's another boss before it, but it's one of those enemies that turns out to be like just a regular enemy later. So I'm not really counting him.
So even less than the mini boss.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess you could call it a mini boss, but it's this robot thing, and eventually you just find them in the regular stage. So
Okay.
I'm not going to count that as the real first boss. This guy is like unique, and people were building him up, like name dropping him. And I don't know, I just couldn't do it, so I moved on. I would say I wanted to like this game, and I kind of did for the most part until I got to the boss. Maybe I'll wait and see when they release the game. Maybe some things will be rebalanced. I know some people are going to be like, oh, don't make it easier, but I don't know. It didn't hit for me right. And it feels weird because like I don't remember even an Elden Ring. Like I beat Melania a lot. Melania? I forget her name. The rot lady. I beat her like, I don't know, 3 or 4 tries.
Damn.
And I could not beat this first boss after like, I swear at least 20.
Holy shit.
I tried a lot. I just couldn't do it. So I don't know, man. It's weird.
Okay.
Maybe I should just talk about the demos I did like.
Whichever you like.
There's one called Border Pioneer. And this was like a little city builder mixed with kind of like a roguelike deck builder where you're like choosing cards or you're choosing decks.
Okay.
Every turn every so often you get to choose like a one of 3 decks, like a town development deck and a combat development deck, which is building up your little soldiers and defenses.
Makes sense.
And then a spell development pack, which is just spells. Like you can like rain down fireballs or like healing spells. And you have to like choose what you're going to like focus on or, balance it. Like you have to build your town and your food in order to support your defenses of little soldier dudes and like your towers. Like, oh, this tower that shoots arrows needs to have at least 2 population.
Okay.
If you're going to hire soldiers, you need to have like at least, 2 people. So you have to balance those 3 stats: food, population, and I guess you could count hammers, like production.
Oh, like tools, yeah.
Yeah. And then every few days, like the town gets attacked by little like slimes, and this is like all really cutesy. They're not like scary looking things. It's very.
So this is a tower defense then?
I guess you could call it that, mixed with like town building.
Okay.
But also it's not just towers. Like if you hire a bunch of soldiers, you can move them. You can tell them to go here and defend here, or when they're done defending this area, you can select them and tell them to go over here. Or you could just set it on a free-for-all and tell them just attack anything, and they'll run all over the map. So, yes, there are towers you can build, but you could also just make a non-tower mode. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'll have to show you. This is one of the games that I'm thinking of. Maybe I'll try to make a video with you, because I feel like I should be, making use of our YouTube a little bit better.
Yeah, these podcasts are a little tough.
Podcasts are easy.
No, I mean, like, the podcast is easy to make and easy to edit for the most part. It's just uploading that to YouTube is hard in the sense that no one's usually going to listen to a podcast on YouTube.
It's not my preferred place to listen to podcasts, but I have.
Like all the popular ones, obviously have probably built up audiences elsewhere, but it's also like visual because they're doing it live. So
yeah, we're just sitting on the couch together, nothing too interesting to look at. What's the other demo I wanted to talk about? Oh, maybe those were the 2 demos I wanted to talk about.
The only 2 you liked?
Yeah, because there was that other one that was visually interesting, but didn't really work for me. I think I'm pretty much done on the demos, I guess.
So, okay, fine. I'll talk about Pokemon then. It's called Pokemon TCG Pocket. For my own clarity and sanity's sake, I'm just going to call it Pokemon Pocket. That's it. It's an Android and I'm assuming iPhone game. It's mobile only, which is unfortunate. Not necessarily because the game itself, it actually seems to work perfectly fine as a mobile game. I have no problem with that. It's just my phone is a little old, so I have to wait for animations to completely finish before I can start moving things on my own. I hit a button and sometimes it freezes a little bit and then it finally loads in. So I do kind of wish I could get it on my computer instead, but I'll just deal with it as it is. This had a sign up thing. I forgot when I originally signed up for the game.
Is this like a beta?
I don't think so. I think this is, no, because it's version 1.06 or something that I have now. So I think it's just, you could go on, for me, the Play Store and see the page up, and they're like, oh, this is going to release October 29th. So you could sign up, and once it released, it would automatically download to your phone, which is how I got up that day and I'm like, oh, I forgot I even signed up for this. I have a new Pokemon game to play. So that was kind of cool. So it's basically the Pokemon trading card game. Now, originally, the first few levels...
Simplified.
Yeah, I guess. It's been so long since I ever probably played the actual trading card game that I don't know the official rules.
Really? It's so different. Like, even from a cursory glance, I noticed, like, you can only have 3 Pokemon on the bench and 1 active versus, wasn't it 6 in the original?
I would assume so, because the Pokemon is 6 and everything else.
There are no prize cards anymore either?
No, you just get points. So once you hit 3 points, you
Because your deck is, what, just 20, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't remember what the number was in the original, I think like 40 or 60. But I guess that also helps because you don't have the energy to worry about. It's just automatic, right?
Yeah, you get 1 energy per
It's like Hearthstone.
It's pretty
interestingly.
Nice. So fine, I guess technically this is easier. But when you start the game, the first couple of levels, you don't even battle. So I went into this and I'm like, ooh, I can get the booster packs and I can choose which one, which right now there's only 3 to choose from. I think it's like called genetic something or other. 1 pack has Mewtwo on the front, 1 pack has Pikachu, and 1 has Charizard because of fucking course it's those 3. But oddly enough, there's more than just the first 151 Pokemon. There's like additional generations. Actually, yeah. I don't think it includes Galean. Is that the last one?
Do you know if this card pack, are they like tied to real cards?
At least some of them, yes. And that's only because I remember what the old cards used to look like.
Okay. I just wonder.
I don't know anything past like the first generation or 2 of Pokemon cards.
I just wondering if this is like, if they're tying this phone game into like, oh, we're releasing this new.
They probably will at some point.
What did you call it? Galean? Galactic?
Galean, I think.
Well, whatever
Sword and Shield is like the European British version, right?
So like if they're like, oh, this is our new card pack, everyone go out buy it, but it's also on the game.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure that they made this so that they could try and get people to buy more of the
What is the
physical.
monetization in this?
It has the normal microtransactions. You can buy Pokemon Gold, which is like gold bar looking. Like it's not even coins, it's a gold bar. But there's also like premium currency for really special things, but you can also technically get a different currency and upgrade it to that, but 300 of the regular currency is used to buy 1 special store, but then like each item in the special store is like 10 or 12 of those. It's a mess. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not going to worry about it until they come out with like Mew items or something. Right now, there's 1 Mew item in the entire game, so I'm not too worried about it.
What is it?
The Mew item?
Yeah.
So once you finish the Pokemon Dex that's in the game, which is like 300 something cards, so I guess up to Generation 3 or something. If you collect every Pokemon in the Dex, then you get the Mew card.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it's extremely exclusive. Like only a couple of people, I guess, have gotten it so far. But you're always going to get the people that, pay money, however they do it, to get the currency to open up more packs and try.
And it's just all random, right? You get like what, 5 cards a pack?
Yes.
Oh, it's like Hearthstone. Okay.
Now, I learned
Can you create cards, like pick certain? Because like this is reminding me of Hearthstone in the sense that like you get 5 cards per pack, but in Hearthstone you can save up currency to be like, I've never opened up, I don't know, for example, the Gnomish Inventor. Like, I can never get the Gnomish Inventor, so I want to buy it specifically. Is there a way to do that?
You can buy that, yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it includes every card that you can buy, and maybe they're just crazy expensive. Because I think there's some cards, like the basic cards, say Caterpie, for instance. You can buy that with, I think it's like 35 of whatever currency you need. And I saw some, I don't know if they're say a regular Charizard or if it's the EX Charizard, which I stopped playing Pokemon before they came out with the EX cards, so I don't know what that technically counts as. One of those two is like 300 of the currency. I haven't looked to see if you can get holo cards or if you can get like the crazy specialized Mewtwo card or something by buying it or not. There might be some special cards that are locked behind. You just have to get fucking lucky.
But if you want to get Mew, do you need to get like the holo for every, or just like
no? You just need to fill out the deck. So regardless of which card you get, whether it's a holo or regular, as long as the Pokemon has been counted.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I guess I'll be trying to work towards that. But then again, I said that on the Pokemon block game, and I haven't touched that in months. So.
I mean, it's fine. Like, these are the kind of games that they want you to play forever, but you really got to resist the urge to do that because it becomes
honestly,
a tedious
I don't.
Mess.
With this Pokemon Pocket, yes, maybe they will want that. The Pokemon block game, which I already forgot the freaking name of it, that's not a forever game. I don't think they want you to play it forever because they never updated it.
Well, originally when it was made, that's maybe. Any free-to-play game, they're going to want you to play as long as possible to like keep...
I guess, but they kind of forgot it for us. I heard China got a better version.
I guess they just gave up on it. And I mean, that's probably I don't want to say a good thing, but...
I was kind of sad because, like, I wouldn't mind more generations. All they had was the first 151.
Any of these games that go on forever, it's just a real risk for the fleecing money out of people.
I guess. Well, we'll see how.
But I don't know. Goes. I guess it depends because, like, fuck, I'm gonna play Genshin Impact again soon, so whatever.
That's another game I haven't touched in forever, and I'd rather not. So.
Yeah.
And yet somehow I won't uninstall it because just in case. I don't know. Whatever. So back to the trading card game. There's also a thing, and I haven't tried this yet. So when you win, eventually, I think it's level 5 or 6 when you unlock actually starting to battle. And once you unlock battling, there's a bunch of quests that you go through, like beginner stage, intermediate, advanced, and then there's like expert, which I'm having a real fucking hard time with.
You already went through all the other ones?
Yes. I can go back and finish, like, in the beginner stages, they have missions and stuff. I beat all those missions. And I unlocked all of the sets for both intermediate and advanced, but I haven't technically finished all the missions in them.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything special that you get if you finish all the missions, but each mission...
Not even currency or anything?
In the beginning missions, there's like 5 or 6 decks you go through, and each mission gives you a little bit of currency for the store.
Mm-hmm.
But what I mean is if you finish all those missions in the beginner thing, it's not an additional, like, hey, you finished everything. But each time you beat a mission, you're still getting some little currency thing. Okay. So it's like half and half. And then there's also like a tutorial thing if you go, and it's like really easy to miss. Because I started the beginner tutorials, I went through there and they give you like a little card each time you win it or whatever. But somehow I got past that and then I forgot to go back, and I have like quote unquote advanced guides to go through, and it'll give me a couple of extra cards through that too. But it's funny because the first advanced little mission thing, and it's not even a full battle. You just go and do the tutorial bit and then they give you the card, whatever. But I go into advanced and it's like, putting energy on a benched Pokemon. And I'm like, that's not fucking advanced. That's just beginner logic. But whatever.
I mean, yeah, I guess it could be for people who've never played the game before.
I don't know. But it was a little silly, but I'll finish that eventually at some point too. You wanted to ask them?
How do you feel about building decks? Because I noticed some of your decks were...
I'm probably not good at it. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that myself, but...
Yeah, and then there's also like Pokemon I just never been exposed to because, you know, I haven't played all of the games. I am an older Pokemon person, so I know like all 151.
Yeah, but
I know
in the card game, it doesn't really seem to matter because like everything is up front. Like all the info is here. Like this thing is weak against this. This has one attack that does this.
I get that. What I'm saying is I think I made my electric deck with the second and third of a Pokemon I've never really seen, and I don't think I have the first one, so they're kind of useless cards.
Oh.
So I have to fix that. But aside from that, and then it's also like I can only work with the cards that I have currently unlocked.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe my deck building skills are gonna be shit until I get every card that I need. But also, I'm probably just gonna be bad at it anyways. So if you see something and you're like, hey, that was a dumb fucking move, please let me know.
Okay, maybe I will next time I see you play
If you somehow know how to make a better card deck, then sure, by all means.
I think I will say one thing, unless you don't want me to say it on the podcast.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
You've been building your decks too wide.
Like too many options?
Yeah, you need it to be more consistent and less wide. So, for example, you had like 5 different end evolutions, but only like 5 starters of those, where you would probably want to do like
a couple of starters.
Yeah, so it's more consistent.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you're not just sitting on dead cards, especially in this game where you can only put out 3 Pokemon anyways. Well, 4.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. No, we can go over that, and that's fine. Like, I don't mind critique of like, hey, this is a better idea. You might be like stretching yourself too thin. That's totally fine.
Also, card draw is so important, so don't ever underestimate how useful card draw. Like, I think in this game, it feels like the Pokeball isn't as useful as it is in the traditional game because you can only put out so many starter Pokemon. So I think like Professor Oak is way, way better than Pokeballs.
Yeah. Although, and technically, I think the Professor Oak card, you can buy more of it in the little item store or whatever, which I can totally afford. I have like 200 something of the currency.
Does something happen when you, because you can only have like 20 cards in your deck, right?
Yes.
Does something happen when you draw everything? Do you just instantly lose?
No, I don't think that's a...
I think that's how it was in the original game. Like, if you can't draw anymore, you're just forfeit.
That's weird, but no, I think you can continue, because, like...
That's even better, then, for you. Like, you should definitely, like, load up with Professor Oak. That will, again, make your deck consistent. Because think about this. If you have 20 cards, and you just cannot get, like, oh, I need my Wartortle or whatever, and I'm never finding it. Every Professor Oak means that your deck is, like, technically 1 card less filler. And not only that, but like you're bringing out 2 other cards instead.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. We can work on it. It's fine. I'm not good at strategizing in any game, so that's fine.
Okay.
I know that's my shortfall.
It's like I almost would want to play this game, but at the same time, I know that my phone is garbage. I need to replace my phone.
Unfortunately, if my phone is struggling with this sometimes, yours is probably going to be a little bit worse.
I don't even remember when I bought that phone. I'm due for an upgrade, which I don't know. It's just not in the financial cards right now. Anyway, yeah. Anything else you want to say about Pokemon?
The illustrations, like, okay, I know some of these cards are legitimately old cards, and maybe they all are real cards. Mm-hmm. My God, these illustrations are so fucking good.
That's like half the fun of any card game.
I mean, I realize that, but holy shit, they're so fucking cute, and the full-size cards, and supposedly there's special cards where I don't know if I have any of these yet. I'll have to check. You might be able to like click into the card and it gives you a much bigger scene.
Are any of them like animated?
Animated as in like 1 or 2 frames maybe, I don't know.
I know that was a big thing for Hearthstone, like instead of like holodeck or whatever, holodeck, that's not the right word. They would have like animated cards. So you'd have like...
Yeah. No, this is... I don't know. It's just the full scenes, the different art types. Oh my God, they're just so pretty.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously one of the appeals of any of the trading card games, but for Pokemon especially because they're cute.
And hopefully at some point, I don't know if I haven't unlocked it, but I'm at level like 12 or 13 at this point. So it might just be an unlock sometime in the future update or something that we'll be able to trade with people.
You
Like
know
the
what
crate.
I'd
That'd
be
be cool.
curious to see is to see you play through the
The Game Boy game?
yeah, the trading card game for the Game Boy, cuz like that's what I want. I want more games like that. Like
Yeah, I mean, of all the fucking Pokemon games they make, that is definitely one they need to redo. And it's kind of a shame that they haven't up until this point. But if they're making all these cards in this game, they should just be able to take those assets and then put them in a new game, right?
you
Put
would
it on the
hope.
Switch.
You would hope, but I guess we'll see.
So yeah, they should definitely do that.
That would be really cool. I would love that. Like a game where you're actually walking around the world and having, card battles with a bunch of different NPCs with different gimmick decks. And like, collecting cards for free in the sense like in game.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you play in real life, like you have to spend a bunch of money to like get the cards you want, and then you're playing against real people that you have to like meet in real life. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I like digital card games more, I guess.
Well, this is kind of half and half.
Yeah.
I don't think you can use real money yet to buy card games, or if you can, it might be like through multiple layers or some shit. But yeah, I kind of hope I get to the point where I'm not suddenly incentivized to try and buy real cards because I can't afford that.
Yeah, that's the trick too. Especially like I played a lot of Hearthstone, and eventually like for me the most fun in Hearthstone was either the draft mode, which was the arena. Everyone is starting with the fresh deck because you have to pay to get in, and you make your deck of 30 or whatever.
That'd be cool if that happened in here.
So it's like, oh, I don't have all these expensive legendary cards, but because this is a random draft, like you can just have cards you never get to play with. My absolute favorite mode in Hearthstone was always the adventure modes.
The randomizing.
Yeah, it was kind of like a rogue. Some of them were like roguelikes in a way where there was like it had like a story too, where like one of them's like, oh, there's the witch in the woods with the big bad wolf or whatever, and it's very goofy, over the top silliness, and I love that because WoW and Hearthstone in general is just very. It's a comedic game, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
They don't take themselves too seriously, and like you would be building. Maybe the first enemy you run into is like, oh, the goblin in the woods, and he's like an easy dude, and you beat them, and then you get to pick like between a pack of 3 different, and you're slowly building your deck as you adventure to get to the final boss of this quest mode, and like to see if this crazy deck you build could beat the boss. And if you can't, you start from the beginning and you make an all new deck, and it was so much fun. I love that.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, one thing before I stop talking about.
Pokemon could do that.
Pokemon could do anything if they put their heart to it. That's
True.
the problem.
Like, yeah, okay.
One thing I will say though is it actually literally just started today, so it's their first like little mini event. You go into the solo battles and you're specifically battling decks in order of difficulty of Lapras decks. So it has this like special Lapras card or something. And one of the items you can get from that is like a little promo booster set or something, right?
Okay.
So you open those up, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine my surprise when I open up the booster pack and it's a single card. I thought it was going to be cards of like 5, like it's been normally, and I'm like, oh, it's just one card at a time.
That's weird.
Okay.
Does it pull from a special deck of cards, or is it just...
Yeah, it's specifically the promo deck. So the promo cards come in at the end of the decks, the Pokemon decks, and you don't need to collect those to get the Mew card at some point.
These are just going to be cards that are added to the game over time, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How many did they add in this promo? Is it just one that you
I've
get?
only gotten through 2 battles because, I was trying to get my morning routine finished. I didn't want to battle for too long. I don't know how many battles there are, but I guess we'll see. I will say the card with I got a Mankey card and I got a Clefairy card, and oh my god, the Clefairy art is so fucking cute.
And I'm assuming if you miss this event, you'll just never get those Clefairy cards, right?
I have no idea. It's too soon to tell.
That reminds me a lot of how Metal Slug did their game.
I'm sure they're adding FOMO to this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, for this event, do this event, and you'll get these 3 special things. But if you miss it, they're gone forever.
Well, I'll see. I don't know. There's probably a timeline, of course. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure I'll finish all the battles or what have you by tonight or something. But I don't know. Guess we'll see.
Okay.
I was just surprised by like, oh my god, a pack and it's 1. Oops.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think that's all for me for this week, to be perfectly honest. Do you have anything else?
Since you brought it up earlier, I'll briefly mention the Mega Man X fan game I've been playing. Somebody took Mega Man X8, which is a PS2 game, and they demade it into a Super Nintendo style Mega Man X game. So it's got the sprites from the Super Nintendo era, right?
Okay, that sounds good, I guess, right?
Instead of being 3D.
Yeah.
The downside is you can't play as Zero or the other playable characters, because Mega Man X8 actually had, I think, 6 playable characters.
Jesus, why so many?
Well, there's 3 different main ones, and then like the other 3 are like the navigators, which were all women. So like you got your 3 guys and your 3 girls, but in this remake you can only play as Mega Man, which is, fine, whatever.
I mean, it's a Mega Man game, so that makes sense.
But apparently this was made by somebody who's like Mega Man X8 except harder now.
Uh-oh.
So I've never played Mega Man X8 or 7. I've beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but I've never played 7 or 8, the PS2 games. So I figured, this will be a great way to experience Mega Man X8 since I've never played it. And it has been a lot of fun to be like, these new stages, these new bosses. But you can definitely tell that they made this a lot harder than the PS2 game.
And how can you tell?
Well, for one thing, like, okay, one of the bosses is I don't remember the name of him. He's like some praying mantis looking dude. And he's got a really cool design where he's like his head has like, imagine a praying mantis little head with like the eyes on the side.
Yeah. It's
like part of his helmet.
Okay. And
he's got like the mantis arms. It's a cool design. I like it.
It should have been a lady mantis, but sure.
But well, these are robots. I don't know if any of them have genders.
Do you take off his head when you defeat him?
No, they all just blow up. But he's really freaking hard. I guess in the PS2 games, once you fight the boss, they at like halfway through their health, they like have a special attack or something. And this thing is like he just like flies into the middle and basically swings his scythes around, and they hit for so freaking hard. You can like take 2 of those hits and you're dead.
Damn.
And that feels uncommon for a Mega Man X game. So it took me a long time to beat that boss.
Now, are you enjoying the difficulty?
Kinda. I mean, I did finally beat him. I almost gave up on that boss, to be honest with you. I had to go online. I'm like, okay, how are other people dealing with this guy? And then I saw, you can knock him out of that stance, or you can use one of the boots that like lets you dash for invincibility or whatever. There's ways around it. He's still hard. Even knowing what to do, he's still hard. But I was able to get through him and beat all the other 8 bosses and get to like the final part, which is like this elevator or space elevator. I can think they call it the Jacob's elevator, which might be
Jacob's ladder.
Yeah. I got to the final boss and I didn't beat him. I don't know if I will go back and do it again. I got kind of fatigued because it's one of those things where like not only do you have to fight like 3 bosses in a row, but there's such a long run up to the boss. Like in Mega Man games, you go into that little like chamber where it's like,
yeah, you have to, it's a boss rush, right?
There's a little chamber right before the boss where there's like these 2 doors you go into, right? Mm-hmm. You go into the door, there's like a little hallway, then you go into the door and there's the boss. And that's where you like, you restart if you die.
Okay.
After you get out of that door, you have to go up a bunch of stairs and then you can fight the first boss. And then after you beat that first boss, you have to fight the second boss. And then after that second boss, you have to fight the third boss. And I was just like, oh god, I'm a little fatigued on this right now, so I didn't finish it. Maybe I'll go back and try again, but...
Now, I get that doing the extra stairs is kind of like silly, because it's just, there's nothing to it, it's just taking up time.
Yeah.
But going through 3 bosses, aren't boss rushes kind of a thing in Mega Man?
I mean, some games, I guess. Let's see, Mega Man X1 you had to fight the Wolf, then Sigma, and then Final Sigma. In some of the other ones, there would be like a Sigma fight, and then like the final Sigma fight. So sometimes they're just 2 stages. I guess sometimes they are 3.
I know Nintendo tends to like things in 3.
You might be thinking of like the 8 bosses that you have to rush through.
Maybe.
This does an interesting thing where you have to like, okay, in most Mega Man games, you have to refight all the 8 original bosses again.
Yeah, the boss rush.
Some of them do it where like you run into them during the stages. the less creative ones do it where you just get to like a stage where there's like the 8 doors and you have to go through all 8 doors to beat the bosses again, which is
I think that's
less fun.
Apparently the one that I'm remembering, even though I've never played a Mega Man game.
Yeah, Mega Man X and Mega Man 1 do interesting things where like you just fight the bosses again in the stages. So like they pop up from time to time and like, oh, gotta deal with this guy now. I kind of like that method more than just like you're at the, this room that leads to 8 other rooms. This one does a thing where like you do have that room that leads to like the bosses, but you have to pick 2 at once.
Weird.
So like, do you want to fight the panda guy again? Okay, but you have to also fight somebody else. You have to pick someone else. So for example, the sunflower guy, because all the Mavericks are based off like animals or whatever. Like there's
plants, I guess.
Yeah, there's a sunflower, there's a panda, there's like this
the mantis, apparently.
Fire rooster, the mantis, etc., etc. But you have to pick 2 and fight both of them at the same time. But they rebalance it so it's not too crazy. It's still crazy because 2 bosses at once.
Yeah, 2 bosses in the same room, not
yes,
one
2v1 at the same time.
Okay.
It's really interesting. It's kind of fun, and like I've been, kind of complaining like this game is hard. And sure, it is hard, but like it's hard in a good way because they rebalance it too. So they're not using their same AI that they were when you're fighting them one-on-one. They're just a tiny bit slower, or they have more pauses. So it's not too overwhelming.
Right.
But it's still crazy. It's really good. I think that's my favorite thing that this fan game did. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much longer on this because I haven't beat it yet. I don't know if I will. Maybe I will. I'm like at the final boss, so I might as well try again. But even if I don't, I really enjoyed my time with it. Mega Man X8. I don't know if it has a specific title. You could just look up Mega Man X8 Demake. You'll find it that way.
Now, how does Capcom deal with fan games? Are they pretty chill?
They're pretty chill. They've even like officially endorsed one.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Somebody made Mega Man versus Street Fighter.
Oh.
And that was a fan game, and Capcom was like, this is great. We're going to tell everybody about it, and we're going to release it for, the celebration of, I forget if it was the Street Fighter anniversary or something. It's like, hey, everybody, we're releasing this. You can come download it for free. I actually never played that one.
Maybe you should.
Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of great Mega Man fan games out there. Like, seriously.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I guess I'll stop here because I didn't. Now I'm just thinking about the other Mega Man fan games. Like, ooh, which one would I talk about, and which other one do I want to play? Because there's another one I do want to play, but that'll be for a different day to discuss. God, what a show! I think this one's kind of a rambling mess, but whatever. That's how it goes.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's good for this week. We went over Luma Island that we both played. I went over Pokemon Pocket. You went over the Mega Man fan game. That seems pretty good.
And
and some demos.
Yeah, like Border Pioneer and AI Limit and a few other ones that I didn't talk about. Oh, Billionaire. I have a lot more demos to get through too, so maybe next week there's 2 that I'm really looking forward to that I have, so we'll see. Oh, you know what I didn't even talk about?
Oh shit, what?
Freaking Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh yeah, because your computer can't handle it.
I do want to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds,
okay.
So bear with me. I am a huge fan of Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World and Rise is probably 2 of my most played Steam games, right up there with like Fallout 4.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yeah, and I even run mods for those. I'm not going to need to make mods for this one because they actually had the right idea of customizing your outfits a bit better.
Yay! Women can wear pants now.
Yeah, for example, that's one of the things, yeah. But I guess I just can't run it. I have an RTX 2060 and a Ryzen 5 2600.
I don't remember what I have.
You have the same processor, but a different graphics card. Our computers just cannot run Monster Hunter Wilds. I thought maybe I could get away with playing it like at a medium setting or low setting at like 30 frames per second. And technically I can get it to run at 30 to 45 frames per second, but it looks so ugly. Like, I don't understand how I can run Monster Hunter Worlds beautifully maxed out, and it looks absolutely beautiful at a great frame rate, and yet I can make Monster Hunter Wilds look like a freaking N64 game, and I still can't run it.
Sorry, sweetie.
It's sad. Like, oh my god. But if it weren't for that, like, I am very curious about like the whole new open world system. The weather system is kind of hit or miss for me. Like the beginning area, you it's either like this lush, well, it's not lush, it's like this golden plain with like sandy deserts and a lot of yellow grass, or it's like a gray storm. And when it's gray, it's so ugly. And especially on my computer, it's even uglier. So, oh man, I really wish I could play it. I played a little bit. I beat Chatacabra, the froggy monster. And then they were like, okay, it's time to go fight the big bear. But I didn't want to fight the big bear yet. I wanted to explore the world. But that's when I realized, like, my computer just can't handle it. Because at some point, I don't know what had happened. Like, maybe there was just a herd of monsters running around. The frame rate tanked into, like, 11, 12 range.
Oh my god, it was a slideshow.
Yeah, it's like, what is happening? I don't understand. So, unfortunately, my PC can't handle it. I don't have a PS5, so I can't play it on console. It's just, as much as I wanted to play this game day one, it's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. Which makes me incredibly sad.
Sorry, sweetie.
But I don't know. I wish I could say more about Monster Hunter. I did turn on the cat voices, or the meows, because in this version now the cats just talk like humans and human language in English.
Gross.
And I don't like that. I want the meows. So that is something you can turn back on, which I did. Like, that was like one of the first settings I changed. It's funny because when I booted up the game, it realized my computer couldn't handle it, so it put it on lowest settings.
Oof.
So I'm sitting here making my character, and it is so ugly. It's like, why am I even in a character creator if it looks like this? Anyway, I skipped through all the story because I didn't want to see the story stuff. Like, I'll deal with the story when I'm playing it for real.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just wanted to get into the game to see the world and explore and see the changes that they made with the weapons, because, like, a lot of the weapons have different movesets now. And I wanted to experience that, but
maybe someday in the future.
It's sad. It left me in a sad state, and I'm gonna leave this podcast on a sad state now because of that.
Wow, gee, thanks a lot. Okay, well, I'll try to, I don't know. I can't fix that. Anyways, I guess that's enough for this week.
Yeah.
And we'll try to see you on a happier note next week. Bye.
Will we? Yes, we will. Okay, bye.